Hello there, this is Brent, and we're going to go over some more Game Maker tutorials. Today, we're going to do sprite movement and sprite direction, getting some life into our character. Last time, let's see where we were last time. So we run the program, we have a character, he just moves around. We got him to move around the screen. He doesn't actually. He looks just kind of silly. Is a good term I think I'm going to use. So what we're going to do is actually get a little life into him today. I'll show you how to do that. So when we're pressing the button, we were getting some movement, determining which direction this character was. So one of the things we probably want to do is add him turning different directions, facing different directions. And we can save with a simple sprite, not a complex one. So like what I mean by that is, if we have a character who has like a sword in right hand and a shield in the left, when you turn the different directions, you probably still, you don't want it to appear as if he's still switching the sword is magically switching between hands, and so in that case you'll need to have different sprites for different directions. But in a simple character, in this case, we can there's a trick you can do to cut down on the number of sprites and get things done. So what we're going to do is in the create event, we're going to we had the move rate. Now we're going to do we'll just shorten it, character direction. And we're going to say he starts off, when he's created, he'll always start off 1, which is, I'm going to say is looking right. And you'll see why here in a second. So when we have move X, because we're figuring if he's X or Y, we're going to say, after we've determined it, we'll throw down here, say character direction equals move X. Can't quite say that. Because in some cases he'll actually be 0, so he won't be looking in a specific direction. If move X is not equal to 0. So that way we're, depending on where we're looking. So we've got a direction. Still doesn't really do anything different other than we're keeping track. Oh, he's moving right, he's moving left. Save direction looking. So when we're creating objects in Game Maker, one of the things we can do is we're drawing a sprite. So that can be an event in itself. Every time you draw, you're doing something. So here we're actually going to modify I guess the one and simple way to do that would actually be we can either do it this way, or we can prep it and use this later at some other point, but I think we're just going to actually do the super simple way to do it. The image that you have has an X scale, which is how big do you want to draw your original sprite compared to its current size. So you can make it really large, really small, compared to the way it was originally created. The same, it also has a Y scale. So because we're making this a simple change, we're going to use Y scale. X scale, which is right, left, and we're going to do the character direction. So now, when we do this, he should change the way he faces. Yeah, so he's going to look, depending on which way he's moving, he's going to look right or left. Kind of get that little look there. I think we're going to actually, the other thing we're going to do is, it seems a little choppy. I'm going to increase the speed of the room to 60 frames a second. I think will that do it? Or he moves a lot faster. So one of the things is if during the middle of the project you decide to change from like a 30 cycles a second or to 60 cycles a second. I really shouldn't be talking about frames per second. It's two separate things. So if you change it to 60 and your move rate, say that's a lot smoother, but he's moving really fast. So we're going to have to change his move rate back down to 1. So now he's still moving. It's smoother looking. And then, yeah, I like that better. So he's moving around. So let's actually make him look like he's walking. So we're going to go back to our original sprite boy. We're going to edit him. So he's a pretty simple character. We're going to copy him, control, and then copy him, make a secondary, and we're going to draw. We'll make it 4 frames. Oh, what did I do there? Okay. So 1 leg up. One more frame. Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, he is definitely. I guess I should show that there. So if you just create a character and don't do anything, he looks like he's running, like his feet are on fire, maybe. I don't think that's really the effect that we want. So what we're going to do is go into the character, open this up, go back to our initializing our character, and we're going to say so we actually don't want him to appear to be moving when he's standing still. So if he's moving, we're going to set it to true. Okay. Actually, image speed is going to be a 0. So we'll go back, and if we're pressing the button, so going into the movement, if x or x is not equal to 0 and y is not equal to 0, we're going to set him to do two things with it. image speed equals 0, and the image index, we haven't talked about image index yet, but image index is, so we have 4 frames for the the Sprite Boy. So we're going to keep them on 0, put him on the first frame if he's not moving. Otherwise, we'll just update the image speed. I think I hate to do it that many times. So when we're going to change this, if keyboard check pressed, so this is just checking to see if a key was pressed. So if it's right, we're going to have a lot of them since we have a lot up top. Left, down, actually we don't need to do that. This will make it simpler. We're going to say if move x plus move y equals 0. And the reason why we're going to do this is because if we're checking to see if they're down. So we're moving in a direction. If they're all up, these are both going to be 0. That means if they're not pressing anything. We'll try it this way first. We'll see what happens. We'll just make it. So if image speed is set to 1, that means it'll be, because there's a number of steps, he'll change the image 60 times a second. So in this case, we do it down to 20 a quarter. We're doing it 15 times a second. So let's try this first before we go do that massive case. Oh. Alright, so what am I doing wrong? So back to edit, sprite, the first image. Oh, let's... Oh, so first thing we'll do is just move this one up to the front. That way he doesn't look like he has his leg in the air all the time. Still no movement. Alright, I guess we're going to have to do that after all. So we'll just do it for the arrows since that's what I'm primarily using right now. But you'd have to do this for each one. Right. Oh, this is probably where I did it wrong. It's right here. Move X plus move y is not equal to 0, or is equal to 0. So let's get rid of this for right now. I'm not 100% sure we need that. Alright, so he's not moving. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's what I want. So we're doing all the work on the checks up top. So if he's actually moving in any direction, this will be something other than 0. So if we add them together, we know and it's 0, that means he's not moving. So we're going to put him in his idle state, and we're going to keep his image speed, which keeps him on the first image without changing. Otherwise, we're going to change it to, that way we don't have all these extra key press checks all the time. I missed that when I was going through there. So let's get rid of that. And we're going to move him. So that looks much better, him moving around. Oh, that's interesting. If you down bottom right, down top right, maybe we'll have to compensate for that. So if we going two directions, one that's a 1 plus 1, and this is x in the minus 1. This is y in the plus 1. So if you add them together, that'll be 0. So we need to fix that. Or let's see. And move x equals 0. So that guarantees that'll fix it. So go down here, he's walking, up walking, different direction he's walking. I like that. That's looking good. So let's change our room a little bit. We're going to go back here and change the background color so we can do something different. So when you pick a color, you probably want like your backgrounds to have a very low saturation, SAT, saturation. That means that it's a lot more compatible with the different colors you have on your screen, and it's not overwhelmed. Like if you have a bright red and a bright blue, you're not going to see that. So whenever you pick one of these are pretty bright with a high saturation. If you look at them, they're always way up there, except for these down here. And even then, like an 80 is pretty high, but in general, these are what we call in art overly saturated colors. So really want to bring that down to where you can really pick any color and bring it down to like a 25 or 20. It still retains that color, the original color in general, but it's a lot nicer to look at. So you're not, I mean, that's pretty bright. I think we'll go back down to this one. If you think it's too bright, yeah, we'll just leave that there. See, that's too bright. Too much blah. Yeah, that's alright. I can live with that much blah for right now. Especially what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do is make it a little more, give a little more depth to our character. We're going to add a shadow. So we're going to create a new sprite. SPR for sprite, and then shadow. We're not going to do reflections or anything like that, it's just a plain little shadow. So what we're going to do is create a sprite. It's going to be the same size as the original one, original character. Open it up, and we're going to use a circle, make a nice red one. That'd be fun. No, we're not going to do that. So we're going to make a dark shadow. Actually, so if we left click on the thing, that's the outer, so we're going to make, how about that one, and then there. That way, create it. Alright, let's get rid of all that. I like this, but I want it darker. So we're going to change the luminosity, which is how dark it is. I'll probably just do it this way. A little dark. I like that better. We're going to put in the middle and then down. Let's try 12. That looks like about right. In the little center there, it's kind of really hard to see exactly where that is. But that's alright. For right now, we're going to do that. Then we're going to change our character a little bit here. He's not exactly. We want to move him over just 1 pixel, so he's so now we got our center origin will align for 8 pixels, and we had our shadow to 8 pixels, so those will align. It'll be right below him. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to put this closer to where his feet is. So we're actually going to put this, down at his feet. 16 it would be down here. We're going to, for later we'll do that. So now, we have a character. Oh, did I add one of those again? So in our character event, what we're going to do is we're just going to, every time we draw something, we're going to change it. So we're going to change how we draw our character. So in the draw event, we're going to add just a little bit of code. So to draw yourself, the original sprite, we'll do draw self. So we play our starter little game. We got our character. He runs around. Not too exciting. So we're going to do a draw sprite. We're going to do extended. So the different parameters here. So sprite, we use what's called a sprite index that keeps the image the same. image index is which frame we're on. We're not changing that. X is going to be the position of our character, so we're not changing that. Y, not changing that because we're drawing our character where he normally would be. Oh. Yeah, actually, I see what we're doing. So we're going to change. We have a shadow. So we'll go through these parameters first. So X scale, we're not going to make it any larger. Y scale, we're not going to make it any larger. Rotation 0. Color. Okay, so if you do C underscore, that'll give you your different colors. Just in general, white is the color of whatever you're normally doing. And 1 for alpha will give us, we might change that to 3/4, so we're not quite full black shadow or whatever. Might be coming useful later. Let's change it to 50% shadow. So we're sprite index. This will actually really do nothing because we're going to draw our character because that's the sprite index we're drawing with the index we're drawing. But see, what we want to do is we want to draw the shadow. So we're going to change this shadow to the shadow, and because it's not an animated sprite, well, we're going to keep it as 0. Oh, it's always the 0 image. So let's run it. So now we have a character, he walks, and he has a shadow. We might want to position that a little bit differently. We can do that by going back to the original image, moving it down a little bit, maybe 1 pixel. Yeah, so now he's got a little shadow that he's got going around him. And he's living the life. And what a life that is. So, thanks for watching. That's really kind of starting to get some sort of character going. If you're going to do more of a third person type perspective, character moves around the screen. I don't have anything to keep him on the screen, which we'll eventually get into. But yeah, there's our nice little character. Good luck coding. Until next time.